Daytona is a place where dreams come true, and it may not have been a full race today, but it fulfilled a lifelong dream for Matt Kenseth. He is the 2009 Daytona 500 champion, and nobody can ever take that away. If ever you've celebrated after a race win, there's no better place to do it than in Daytona's Victory Lane. Hello, everybody, and welcome to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. In the rain, we got Matt Kenseth coming to join us now. And Matt, congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
What a feeling. So many things have to come together to win one of these races, but when it all comes together and it's the 500, it must be second to none.
It for sure hasn't sunk in yet. They asked what it was like to win the Daytona 500. I was like, well, after last year, it's pretty cool to win a race, you know? So it's just unbelievable. It's just every stock car racer, you know, this is their dream to win. This is the biggest stock car race in the world. And to be able to pull this thing off, I'm really just so blessed. I mean, I got a great team. My dad got me into racing. I've had a lot of great car owners and friends that have volunteered time and spent their money to get me here. A lot of great sponsors, and I'm really humbled, and I'm really, really thankful. I've had a lot of great opportunities.
Don't cry, but if you want to cry, I'll cry with you, buddy.
I got most of that out in the car. That's why I stayed in there under that dark car cover. I was like, well, I don't want to get too excited if it quits raining, but I was kind of a little bit of a baby there, but
hey, that's okay tonight, man.
Pretty emotional day. It's pretty cool. This is Drew's first crew chief, or first Cup race as a crew chief, and all my team this winter did great. We made just a couple little changes, really, but you know, they put all their egos aside. We all sat down and said, how can we make our team stronger? And we made a lot of changes. And I know it's only one race, but I've been really optimistic about the season for the last month or so. And Kenny will tell you, I'm not the most optimistic person in the world. So I feel really good about my team. I think they're the best team out there. I feel like the possibilities are endless with these guys.
Matt, you put yourself in position to win this race. Tony Stewart just told the crowd a little bit ago, congratulations to you, because you know, you came from mid-pack. You put yourself, you were there. You know, Dale Earnhardt was leading this thing. He blew a tire. The guy runs second one. You were leading the race. Congratulations. I mean, here you are. I mean, you make the pass. Talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised I made it. I got a little run on Elliott, but not very big. And when I turned left, he never blocked. And I saw Kevin behind me, and Kevin is really good at this stuff, and I feel like I'm not. So I was hoping, when it started raining down there, since I took the lead, I was like, keep raining. But they had a wreck, but it's pretty cool. I was happy Kevin was behind me and gave me a little bit of push there then, and I know I pushed him up there when he won it a couple of years ago. So it's all about, first of all, your car really has to handle, but you need to be in the right place at the right time, and we worked really hard on all the adjustments, and we finally got to handle the way it needed to then.
And that's, I guess, what I want to ask you. You know, not the night you guys needed it in the Bud Shootout, not the day you needed it Thursday. You know, I was talking to Jack. The cars were not into the racetrack. God, Matt, what'd you guys do to get it to be that strong? Because it was strong all day.
You know, really, it was our third car, so this one was a lot better. It really was. The shootout car.
Process of elimination.
Yeah, exactly. But no, the shootout car was okay. We just kind of missed the setup, I think, a little bit, and I wasn't at the right place at the right time. And the 500 car, honestly, from the second we unloaded, it drove horrendous. It just would never, ever turn. We couldn't get it right. I mean, it was a blessing in disguise that it got wrecked. That was the car that was all polished down and painted nice and smooth. I mean, that's the one they really buffed all winter. But it just didn't handle. It just would only run 10 laps, and it would go straight to the – I'd have to let off the gas and just get past. And as soon as we unloaded this car, I could feel the front end was right. And the front end worked and turned, and then we could adjust around that. And it was just a better car when we unloaded it for whatever reason.
Hey, Matt, we made the comment this morning that we hadn't heard a lot from the Rash Racing cars so far this Speed Weeks, but sometimes it's the guys that are quiet that are the best on Sunday. Did you ever think throughout the course of this weekend that you might be the Daytona 500 champion?
No. You know, I was thinking about it today. I was actually the guy I was riding around with on the track was driving his car, and I was talking to him. He owned this old Corvette he's driving me around with, and I got thinking about it. This is my 10th Daytona 500, and I was like, man, I've been doing it for 10 years, and, you know, we haven't, you know, a couple times we had a fast enough car to win one and just didn't get there, got wrecked or what have you, or made a mistake, and didn't really think we'd win it, and I was pleasantly surprised how strong our cars were. Carl, I thought, had the strongest of our group in a long run. Jamie was fast, and our car was pretty fast in a short run, and the other thing, you know, these cars handled good today, but Doug Yates and them guys do an awesome job with the engines. He really tuned them up for today. It ran a lot better than it ran Thursday, and I was able to, you know, pull up in there when I needed to.
You know me. What's going to happen the rest of the year? Not the year you wanted last year. What can we expect out of my man, Matt, the rest of the year?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just elated right now. I just can't explain how I feel, but by Thursday I'll be ready to go, because Daytona 500 is only one race. It doesn't really mean you're going to win a bunch of races throughout the year or a championship or anything like that. It's one race. It's a totally different race, you know, so we really need to get to California, work hard there and at Vegas and Atlanta and get through them first few races and see how we are. But I feel good about it. I mean, Carl won 9 races last year that were all downforce races, and I think we've learned some stuff there, moving Chip back and letting him work on cars harder and working with Drew hand in hand and adding Drew to the mix. I feel really good about my team. I think we'll for sure be stronger than we were last year. I don't really make predictions, but I feel pretty good about where we're at.
Matt, congratulations,
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Great
Appreciate
job.
it.
You're a Daytona 500
Thanks,
champion.
And have a
Hey,
nice
good
ring
job.
to wear, too.
All right.
So
And
make sure
a
we
big
see
trophy
it.
and a big
Right.
paycheck,
You're
too,
good.
as well. All right. We got to take a quick break here. We're going to get out of the rain in just a moment. But right now, Matt Kenseth has brought Ford their first Daytona 500 victory since 2000 and got Jack Roush a Daytona 500 win.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you in part by Old Spice, the official deodorant of NASCAR. And by Bank of America, the official bank of NASCAR, where you can get a choice of NASCAR drivers on your check cards and credit cards.
It simply doesn't get any bigger than the Daytona 500, so it definitely doesn't get any bigger than winning this huge race. For the first time in 23 attempts, Jack Roush and one of his teams is spraying the champagne in Victory Lane after the biggest race of them all. And Jack, congratulations, man. So many years of trying and so many other great victories for your team. How does this one add up?
Well, it's real special. It kind of snuck up on me. I expected we'd have to wait till midnight. I hadn't taken into account that it was going to take 3 hours to drive the racetrack, and as soon as you had more than 2 hours of rain, you could predict you were out of time. And the NASCAR had come to that conclusion. That's the reason they called the race earlier than I thought it might have been called. But I was prepared for a siege to sit in tonight and watch the blowers run and to see if we were going to get started, and believing that there was a great likelihood that we'd get it started and that 17 could win. But it wouldn't be predisposed as it was by the fact they stopped it under rain with him in front.
Jack, don't be negative. 23 years, 113 wins. Damn it, it's the Daytona 500, and you won it.
We won it, and my partner John Henry is here. You know, we enjoyed the Red Sox owner. We enjoyed sharing the event with him. He got to spray champagne. My daughter's here, the drag racer, Susan, and we enjoyed sharing that with her. And so it's a real special time. It'll take me, I'll probably be black and blue when you see me at Fontana from pinching myself just to make sure it was real.
It's real.
Jack, the engineer in you, Matt just come up here and Jimmy asked him a great question. How did you win this race? And he said process of elimination. His first car was good. It got wrecked in the Bud shootout. Second car, didn't really go. He said his third car, the front end was in the track and handled really good. How can a third car be that much better when they're all in a jig and they all go through these templates?
Well, my guess is that what got better was his judgment and the team's judgment of what to do with the car. As far as we know, every metric that we're able to apply, the cars now are with all of NASCAR's templates that hold it to within, a half a millimeter in most places. We believe the cars are the same. One of the things that I'm sure you've seen in your time, and I know I've heard from Jimmy, is that occasionally you get this race car built and you go out and you be excited about it and you look over and you see a demon sitting beside of you. You say, I don't want to drive that car anymore. It doesn't like me. I don't know how to fix it. It's got something wrong with it. We don't have that complaint from these cars. These cars, they basically come off and do the same job. But, the thing you got to remember is we were down here for 10 days. We had the practice for the shootout, we had the shootout, we had the practice for the 150s, we had the 150, and then we had 2.5 hours.
Practice.
2.5 hours between the 150s and the race. And so every time we went on the racetrack, the car got better. And I think that, Matt may like this car because he's not going to be able to see it for a year. but I'm real confident that we've got another plain old $5 horse that'll do the same job in the shop.
Hey, Jack, it's been almost a decade since Ford has won this race. It was back in 2000 with Yates Racing. Now you got your manufacturer back in this victory lane. Well,
it's great to do that. Over the years, I guess I feel that I haven't done my part at the restricted races. One year we had 3 poles and didn't come up a winner, and it's been a long time. Ford has been really good to us. They deserve this. I hope this will help. I hope this will help us sell some cars.
Jack, this, with what NASCAR, what we're all going through, every American, including yourself with the race teams, this has to be a plus, not testing. Don't you believe overall?
The testing was played to a strength of the established teams. If you were trying to start a team today, if you had enough money to do that and you chose to start a team, you would be disadvantaged by the fact you didn't have the data from the last time you ran the race, and you weren't able to build off that to plan going forward. I know in 1990 when Mark Martin, you were there too, when Mark Martin was a runner-up to Dale Sr. Under circumstances that are still debatable.
I agree with you on that.
We won't go there. But that year, the year before, in '89, we watched Rusty Wallace win his championship. He tested before he went to every racetrack for the first half of the year. Guess what we did in 1990? We tested before we went to every race for the first time of the year. The one racetracks we tested before we went to, and the two racetracks we tested before we went the first time. And that cost a lot of money. That was a way to catch up on the guys that were established, and you couldn't do that today.
Jamie McMurray, Donnie Wingo had an awesome day. This kid just needs a little bit of luck. I mean, he runs in the top 5 all day long, Jack.
Yeah, he ran in the top 5, and of course, Paul Menard was coming in the Menard 98 car, for Doug Yates and for Max Jones. So there was a lot of, and that was a car we built, and they shared our engineering technology. But Ford has given us great tools in our toolbox, the same tools they use for their production cars, and we've been able to use those and to put a lot of fast Fords on the racetrack here, and that got us a win.
Awesome.
Well, Jack, congratulations, man. Great job. You got that Daytona 500 victory. Thank you for letting us share this moment with you guys.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. We'll look for it. If it takes 23 years to get the next one,
No, it won't.
I won't be here. I won't be here in 23 years.
Congratulations
awesome.
to Jack Roush. And we want
Thank you very much.
Take a moment now and get another racing question from Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. Let's take a look at the question, and it is, which NASCAR racetracks are concrete? If you want the answer now, go to Ask.com, where NASCAR fans go to get answers. Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. Welcome back, everyone, to Victory Lane. The 51st running of the Daytona 500 is in the history books. It was shortened by 48 laps, but nonetheless, Matt Kenseth hoisted the Harley J. Earl Trophy, and therefore he is in the history books. Now, we might not have a lot of sense, but we at least have enough sense to come in from out of the rain. Victory Lane is soaked right now, so we're up here in our studio high above the old Victory Lane, along with Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer. We're ready to take you through this great American race. We're going to start back when the green flag waved under cloudy skies earlier this afternoon, and Martin Truex Jr. and Mark Martin took us to that green flag.
Yeah, and everybody had high expectations. We knew the weather was coming, but hey, man, it cleared up, Kenny, and the weather looked good. What a packed grandstands for this baby.
And the sentimental favorite, Mark the Kid Martin from Batesville, Arkansas. Here he comes to the lead on the outside of Martin Truex, and of course, the dominant car, the 18 car of Kyle Busch, pushing him on through.
Yeah, and we know how strong that 18 car is. We saw him finish second Saturday in the nationwide race, but here we come with the first wreck, Johnny.
Welcome to Daytona. Eric Almirola in the number 8 car for the Ganassi Earnhardt Racing team goes for a spin, but he was able to keep that one basically out of trouble.
Yeah, and here's another look of it. I'll tell you what, guys, these people were paying attention here, Kenny. Look at this. Now, we can have a big melee here. Here he goes into the corner, and he gets bumped, right? Wait a minute. Here it comes. There it is.
You know what?
And look at this, Kenny. Nobody gets involved, and he does a great job holding that car down. No damage to the 8 car.
And at this time, everybody's riding. They're saying, hey, this is a 200-lap race. Let's take it easy. Everybody trying to stay off each other, and here he goes.
This should come as no surprise as Kyle Busch sticks the number 18 car out front to lead the pack with his teammate in tow.
Remember, Johnny, last year this 18 car led the most laps again, and it looks like he wants to do it today in the 500.
Watch this save. This is incredible. Here we go into the corner. The 36 of Scott Riggs. He saves it, and Joey Logano
great
stays
job.
off of him.
Great job by Joey Logano here, fans. Let's give this kid credit. He's a rookie. Scott Riggs got in this race. Don't forget, with him, this is a brand new team. And here's a look at it going in the corner. It looks, Kenny, like he has to lift off the gas a little bit. As he does, ratchet and looks. Denny Hamlin does a great job saving off the 20 car. Man, that is awesome driving by these guys right here. Awesome driving, man.
Lap number 26, the caution yellow came out. It's what NASCAR usually does when weather conditions vary greatly from one day to the next, and they certainly did down here at Daytona this time around. And when they got back out of the pits after everyone came in, Kyle Busch was back out in front again with the number 17 of Matt Kenseth in tow.
And that's the one thing I want to point out early in the show. Look who is already inserting himself in second spot. The right man comes from mid-pack. Matt Kenseth is running second.
And you know, Kenny, as well as I did, this is where you start to find out how good the handle is on your car.
And, you know, you got to play a little bit of defense here at Daytona as well, and that's exactly what the 18 does, is he gets up and blocks Dale Earnhardt Jr. from taking that high line right by him.
God, he done that Thursday, too, didn't he, with Mark Martin?
And I'm going to tell you what, he must have more mirrors in that car, because I thought, whoop, that's a little close.
Well, you know what? You can't hold Junior back. Here he comes on the inside. Power move. Takes the lead off of Kyle Busch.
And that's the only time at Daytona that you can hear the crowd over the roar of the cars.
Who's that?
When Junior leads.
A.J. Foyt. That's A.J. Foyt.
No, it's not A.J. Foyt. It's Tony Stewart with A.J. Foyt here to help him out. And watch this, a brand new team, Hendrick teammate somewhat, and also a former teammate in Kyle Busch pushes the smoke to the front.
Yeah, you know, this is pretty impressive. Remember, fans, this is a backup car. This goes to show you what the Darian Grubb crews led by Tony Stewart here. I mean, they did a great job to be leading the Daytona 500.
And Darian Grubb came down here as a substitute for Chad Knaus and won the thing. Travis Kvapil.
And, you know, this is the start of tire problems. Obviously, a little too much camber. He blows a tire. Later on in the show, we'll see that Jeff Gordon had the same problems. Travis Kvapil is very unlucky, goes into the wall.
Now, this is a very unusual miscue. Watch Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming in. You're going pretty fast at that point. He said he looked up, and every pit looked exactly alike, so he could not make it into his pit, just stayed out up there. Let's listen.
And away. Right here, 5-4, right here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Go, keep going. Just keep going.
Bad break for Junior, and that had happened to him earlier in the week as well. Here we go back out on the racetrack again with Dale Jr. a lap down at that point, and the 14 of Tony Stewart gives up the lead to the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
Well, you know, all at once we start seeing a lot of different players come into the picture. Here's Carl Edwards in 5th spot. There's the 26 Crown Royal car of Jamie McMurray. Matt right in there. Jimmy Johnson, and give credit to Brian Vickers. There's Jeff Burton, the normal guys up there mixing it up, Kenny.
And here's Joey Logano, tries to stay off of speed and ends up spinning himself out, going right into the wall.
Yeah,
hard
you
hit.
know, just a real hard hit. Lucky Joey didn't get hurt here. And just experience, you know, this shot here, he's trying to stay off of the 82 of Scott's speed, but you know what? Just a race and deal, man. That's that chain reaction, and it's famous here at Daytona. Unfortunately for Joey, he's done for the day.
No one to blame there, and only a coincidence that it was the two rookies involved. A very disappointed Joey Logano. He wanted to make a better showing. He told us this morning on race day he just wanted to finish this thing. It would not happen. Look at this pack of cars coming around Daytona's high banks.
We're starting to see this, Kenny, where, you know, now these guys are getting aggressive. Why, Kenny?
Well, they are being told by their crew members rain is on the way, and this was normal for about 100 laps. You know, the crew chiefs kept saying, rain is coming, go for it. Rain is coming, go for it. You're thinking, why are we running 3 wide 70 laps into the Daytona 500?
More defense, more blocking from the 24 as he goes way down low, tries to take Carl Edwards with him, and then has to hold him off. That's a fancy bit of driving, I'd say.
That is some really good driving. And, you know, Kenny, look at this now. We're starting to see the Dodgers show them face. You know, there's the 44, but look at this move by Jeff Gordon. That is why this guy's won 3 Daytona 500s. Just good. Pay attention. Here I come, guys.
All right, so they passed the pole sitter, Martin Truex Jr. at that point, and then we have a couple of other cars that you got to keep an eye on. The 26 of Jamie McMurray had an excellent run going today.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to halfway here, Johnny, and you're so right. You know, this Donnie Wingo-led crew with Jamie, we saw how strong he ran in the Bud Shootout, how strong they ran on Thursday, and, you know, he's showing his strength right here.
So there we are halfway. You saw the cross flags, and now not only does a crew chief have to be head coach and a psychiatrist, but at this point he had to act like amateur meteorologist because everybody knew this big blob of rain was coming. We could all see it, but they had to decide what to do at that point. How much longer were we going to race?
Yeah, and at this moment, at this very moment, it's still pouring outside. So the crew members are looking at, you know, the map, and they're saying it's going to rain, and everybody's starting to ramp up. You can tell that the tense activity was starting to pick up on the racetrack. So at one point, they're saying, Jeff Gordon, we've got to pit you. Steve Letarte says, but when we get done pitting you, go like mad, go crazy. And he did, and he ended up getting 13th.
All right, so a lot of strategy going on there and a lot of hopes as well. Not only do you have to be good to win a Daytona 500, but it certainly doesn't hurt to be a little lucky as well. Now, the Daytona 500, the driver leading the most laps has failed to win the last 6 Daytona 500. So we'll give you a little hint as to what went on today. Kyle Busch led the most laps with 88. More on that when we come back to NASCAR Victory Lane. Test your NASCAR trivia skills with hundreds of challenging NASCAR trivia questions like which driver was the Cup runner-up in 2003 and 2004? Then see how you rank. Go to speedtv.com/games to play now. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. And we are here at Daytona after a rain-shortened 51st running of the Great American Race. Now, at the halfway point, when we left the highlights off, the rain was on the way and strategy was being played out. Jeff Gordon had a tire problem, had to come in the pits.
And at this time, we had already made a couple pit stops. Jeff Gordon's right front tire was worn out to the cords, and they said, look, we have got to come in or else we will not finish the Daytona 500. Jeff Gordon in the pits to get a right front tire put on.
Camber becomes an issue here, Kenny. We'll see the shot here of the car. You know, look at this tire, Kenny, and is it these guys getting aggressive because of this weather?
I think the weather got so much cooler out. You know, we've had 80-degree temperatures. Now look at David Stremme. He blows a right rear. All of a sudden we have tire issues. I have to think it's because we're 15, 20 degrees cooler today. More speed, more aggressive on the tires.
The 12 car is the car that won the Daytona 500 last year with Ryan Newman on board, Johnny.
And uncharacteristically, more trouble in the pits for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, if you look at the right tire, the front tire's out of the pit box, and the official signals it. The rear tire can be out, but the front can't.
Look, and that guy's pushing the official out of the way. They're not paying attention. They need to listen to the official. The official straightens them out, right? Hey, you know what, guys? No problem. One lap.
Okay, so now listen. They say, here's your penalty. Okay, Junior, your tire is on the white line. They've done the same thing to everybody for the last 2 years. The official is saying, put the car in the box. We will not penalize you a lap. Put the car in the box. We will not penalize you one lap. They don't do it, and he gets a one-lap penalty.
And I think this what leads to this, Johnny.
All right, here comes the big one. At Daytona, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Brian Vickers. Vickers goes down to block, and then Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets back up into him, and a bunch of cars, 10 in all, get taken out of this race or get serious damage to them, including Kyle Busch, who before that had led 88 laps.
Well, there we see the champ, Jimmy Johnson. Here's another angle of it. The 11. Look at Matt Kenseth right here. Now, he tells us on the show, the 18, he's right between the 18 and the 48. Now, this is incredible.
There goes Junior.
Junior goes down,
Brian
bam,
Vickers to block.
Slams into Vickers, catches Robbie Gordon, just misses Matt Kenseth, and he puts in Jimmy Johnson, the 11, the 18. Kyle Busch, the most guy that led the most laps. But Kenny, this here is totally wrong on what Junior does here.
One more look at it to see what you think. Of course, there are two sides to every story, and the video tells the whole story right there, so we as race fans can decide. And now we get a chance to take a listen to what the guys involved in this wreck had to say in a case of he said, he said.
You know, we're racing to try to get the lucky dog back, and you know, he had a run. I went to block, which is what everyone does at super speedway racing, and he obviously wanted a caution pretty bad. He hooked us in the left rear. I was driving straight. Next thing I know, I just saw him just turn hard right into my left rear, and I mean, at that point, there's really nothing I can do. You know, it's just a shame that you know, that he'd wreck somebody in front of the entire field. I mean, if he wanted to wreck somebody for a caution, that's fine, but not in front of the entire field. I mean, somebody could have really gotten hurt.
I got a run on Vickers and the guy he was beside, and I went to the bottom of him. Vickers drove me below the line. He ran into me and sent me below the line, and almost just trying not to drive into the grass and get my car back under control. And trying to get above the line so I don't get penalized for being down there. I ran into his quarter panel and spun him out.
I think I was doing what I had to do. You know, the 42 blocked me, you know, and you know, the guy behind, Junior blocked the guy behind him to get a run on me. I mean, you know, that's super speed racing. You watch your mirror, you try to keep the guy behind you. I mean, my goal is not to let him pass me.
He shouldn't have started that. That would have never happened. If he'd have held his ground, who knows? He would have probably got the lap back or I mean, got the position back eventually. But at that point in the race, that was pretty reckless.
You know, we always try to justify everything, and we always think we're right. But I can tell you this, the Big E, the big black number 3, one thing he always said to me, look, I'll race you, just don't block me. And there's another guy that said something, and he made this statement famous, was Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy Spencer never forgets. 2006 Talladega. Now let's take a look at this. Here we are coming for the win. Who causes this wreck? You know, this is Brian Vickers right there. Boom, hits the 48, sends him into Dale Earnhardt Jr. So you know what? A wreck is a wreck. And do we place blame? Do we analyze it? Do we break it down? But these guys wreck.
But let's make sure we're not comparing apples to oranges here, okay? That's a situation where you're going for the win, and Brian Vickers does whatever he can to win at Talladega. Here, he was trying to block Junior because he wanted to be the first car one lap down. They both did.
Can I just say one thing, Spencer?
Yes, sir.
The problem is this. We're blocking too much. Everybody's blocking. Blocking. Hold your lane. Quit doing this stuff with 70 to go.
NASCAR needs to get consistent. Dale Jr., all Junior has to do is roll off, get out of control. He's full of it. All you can do is watch his car. He intentionally turned to 83 back. You know the 8 guys that got in that wreck? They're the ones that got penalized. Kyle Busch, man, give me a break. Kyle, 11, go down the list. These guys suffered because of what Junior determined and come back out. Let me show you a little tape here of what my point is. Yesterday, in the Busch race, look at Jason Leffler. Oh, wait a while. He turned Stephen Wallace. My gosh. Good job, Stephen. You did a great job. You get tore up here, buddy. I really feel bad for you. Stephen was not wrong in what he did. But you know what? 5 laps for this incident. This is my point, NASCAR. Give me a break, guys. If you're going to penalize somebody 5 laps, I don't give a damn who his name is. You penalize him 5 laps. Junior was wrong, but you guys were wrong.
Was that the same situation? Are we not?
It was worse.
You thought Junior was worse. You thought what Junior did was worse than Jason.
Way worse than what Jason Leffler did. Junior had to run. He had all the room in the world to negotiate that. I've seen it so many times. I've seen the passes, and they stay down and they slow. Junior comes back, turns right. It could go back to what you said, Kenny. Not denying that.
So what do you suggest he does? What does he do?
5-lap penalty.
No, I mean Junior. What do you suggest Junior does?
Junior, I know. All he does is roll out of the throttle, move back up in line. There's no penalty. End of story. NASCAR missed it on this one, fans. End of story.
And then do like the Big E taught us about a month from now, wreck Brian Vickers. Not right now.
Here we go back to the race.
Highlights before we get wrecked up here. And Elliott Sadler is in the lead here. And boy, that is a great place to be with a big old green blob of rain bearing down on this big speedway.
And you know what, fans? Look at this. First, second, and fifth. The Petty Enterprise cars. Now remember, the 19 and the 43 help the 44 to get in this race on Thursday, Johnny.
Little chain reaction thing going on there between Jeff Burton, Regan Smith, and the guy who got the worst end of that was Paul Menard.
Yeah, you know, Paul Menard having a decent day, but not tonight.
Here's probably the biggest pass, if not one of the biggest passes of Matt Kenseth's life, as he takes the lead away from Elliott Sadler with Kevin Harvick in tow.
Yeah, and you know, here we see a bunch of guys right down immediately. They know the rain's coming, Kenny. And here they go, Matt in the lead. But you know what? Here we see a wreck coming. Bam! And what a great job. Allmendinger again. He gets hit from behind Kenny. Who's the car that hits him from behind? I'm not sure.
Amarillo had, here we go. Here's
Casey
the
Kane
replay.
right
Casey Kane. But it all started ahead of him. Usually the people that wreck have nothing to do with the wreck.
77.
It's always ahead of you.
77. Bumped the 8 car. Just one of them, you know, chain reaction deals. And luckily Amarillo saved it.
Second spin of the night for Eric Almirola, and here is the key to the night for Matt Kenseth. The rains came, and they came hard. As a matter of fact, as we speak, some of the rain is still coming down. So NASCAR made the decision to call this 51st Daytona 500 and declare Matt Kenseth the winner. 48 laps short, but nonetheless, when the red flag came out, a lifelong dream was fulfilled from this young driver from Wisconsin, Matt the Brat Kenseth. We're going to take a look at this full finishing order, and there you see the top of the pylon after 152 laps. Matt Kenseth first, Kevin Harvick second. We'll be back to Victory Lane in just a moment. Welcome back to Daytona, everyone. Matt Kenseth got his 17th victory of his career in a big way with the Daytona 500. As long as we're into the numerology thing, you know, Gerald Waltrip won this race on his 17th attempt in a 17 car, so a lot of 17s going on when it comes to winning the Daytona 500. Let's take a look at the results, and these are the numbers that really count after this 51st annual Daytona 500. Matt Kenseth with the win. Harvick, Allmendinger, Boyer, and Sadler. That is a couple of Dodges, 2 Chevys, and a Ford.
Another good run, Kenny, for David Reagan. How about Michael Waltrip? Tony Stewart, first time because of car, and a good job.
And Reed Sorensen gets another top 10 in the Daytona 500. He seems like he's always in the top 10.
Kurt Busch, too. You know, let's face it, this guy gets more top 10s, top 5s in the plate races. He's due to win a plate race.
And that was an excellent job overall by Richard Petty Motorsports. Martin Truex Jr. goes from the pole position to the 11th position. Not bad at all. Jeff Gordon finished in the 13th spot.
And when Casey Mears outruns Mark the Kid Martin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Richard Childress has to be happy with the first outing for Casey Mears.
Now we get back into the guys who had some trouble along the way. Denny Hamlin was involved in the big one, finished 26th. Eric Almirola, after 2 spins, finished 30th. Defending series champion Jimmy Johnson finished 35th.
Yeah, and here we go.
I'm sorry, 31st.
31st. But here we go with a lot of guys. Damien Stemmy blow a tire. Robbie Gordon in the wreck. Scott Speed in the wreck. Brian Newman, just problems. Jamie McMurray, and that's the guy I wanted to say before. Innocent victim of that Earnhardt incident. Not results, not the finish that he surely deserved.
And Kyle Busch, Quapple, and Joey Logano finished in the 43rd spot, but definitely not indicative of where he ran. The young man did a pretty good job in his first ever Daytona 500. It is time now for our Valvoline Protecting the Win part of the program. And you know what? Matt Kenseth protected the win with that pass right before the rain, and then the rain helped help Matt protect this victory, because when it rained, it poured here in Daytona. It was a good old-fashioned Florida frog strangler, and Matt Kenseth gets the win in the 51st Daytona 500. Well, the 2009 NASCAR season is in full swing now. After the big weekend at Daytona is over, now it's game on for the next 35 races of the season with one down. And we're looking at a pretty exciting season if this race was any indication of things to come. A couple of months ago, Elliott Sadler looked like he might not even be in this race. Instead, he came here and finished in the 5th position. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
Elliott Sadler with a top 5 finish here in the Daytona 500. Not exactly the way everyone wanted this race to end, except for maybe Matt Kenseth, huh, Elliott?
Yeah, it's man, this is hard to swallow, you know, to have the lead there at the end. And we knew rain was coming, and half a lap. I mean, I was a half a lap from winning the Daytona 500. So, you know, very emotional for me, because I needed this a lot after the offseason I'd had. So it's tough not to be in victory lane right now. Kevin did a great job getting a run on me, and I tried to pick what side I wanted to block on, and they just made a good pass and good run under me. So on one hand, I'm very proud of my guys that come here and finish 5th. The other hand, it's so close.
Your speed supporters were cheering you on during that race, but you have to be proud of how well your car ran tonight.
I was very, very proud of my guys. I mean, they just kept on working hard all week long, because we were not that good when we got here, and we kept working on it. We didn't run good Thursday, and Kevin and the guys just kept plugging away, great pit stops, and we were pretty much a new team. We got a lot of new guys on my team, and very hard to get out the race car and look them in the eye and know that I messed up on the last lap pretty much. So we knew it was coming, and man, I was pretty much getting emotional in the car when I was leading, going, man, I wish it would rain right now. Would need a lot of luck right now for the Sattler clan to get this win. But Wendy, I tell you what, it's one of the toughest last hour I've been a part of in my life. So put it behind me and go to California and try to race hard.
All right, thanks to Elliott Sadler. Definitely some momentum heading into next week into California.
Well, I tell you, that's how big the Daytona 500 is. There's no question. You saw the tears in his eyes. Second guessing himself, should I done this, should I done that? But you know what? At the end of the day, that organization with Petty, they took that under their wing. He said he has a whole new team. Good job, Elliott Sadler. 4 Dodgers in the top 10, 3 Petty cars, 3rd, 5th, and 9th. Great job, Johnny.
Well, you know, Kevin Harvick knows what it's like to win this thing, but he came in 2nd tonight. Let's now go to Bob Dillner.
Well, Kevin Harvick has won the Daytona 500, and now you come up a little bit short in what is really, the Daytona 380?
Yeah, our Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet didn't start off that great today, but really proud of my team for making the adjustments on the car that they did. We just kind of went all for handling and said we know we don't have the speed that we needed to really be dominant. But the handling really helped us get up through the pack, and you know, those long runs there, we were able to make up a lot of ground and really maneuver the car with people behind me. So just proud of my guys, and good start to the season.
And you inadvertently helped Matt Kenseth, the guy that helped you a few years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty neat to be able to somewhat return the favor. I didn't give him quite as good of a push, but we're able to give him a small push up there, and it's kind of weird how that stuff works out. But that's pretty cool. Matt's been a great figure for our sport and had a lot of accomplishments, and to be able to put that Daytona 500 trophy up there is pretty neat.
Kevin Harvick, a very good start to the season for him and teammate Clint Boyer.
bad for Kevin Harvick. Don't feel bad for him. Listen to this. He wins the Bud Shootout of 2009, finishes 11th in the nationwide race, and finishes 2nd in the Daytona 500. When him and his wife Delaney get back home, they're going to add it up and go, wow, we won $1 million. What? Good week for Kevin Harvick.
Great week for a great driver, and Kevin Harvick is going to be heard by the end of this season. You can guarantee that. Right now, we want to let you know that next Saturday, AMA Supercross is live on Speed. Don't miss a second of the action as world champions James Stewart and Chad Reed get vertical in Atlanta to go bar to bar live on Speed. Coverage begins next Saturday at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll be back to Victory Lane in a moment. Well, this lead up to the Daytona 500 was somewhat of a roller coaster ride for Tony Stewart and his new Stewart-Haas race team, but in the end, it came up on an up note. Let's now check in with Smoke as he talked to Wendy Venturini after the Daytona 500.
All right, Tony Stewart comes home 8th in the Daytona 500, first time as Stewart-Haas owner and driver, but a weird way to end the Daytona 500.
Well, I mean, you can't predict the weather, and you know, it's part of racing. I mean, it's not the first time we got rained on at a racetrack, so just congratulate Matt and everybody at Roush Racing. They did a great job and got himself in a position to win there, and that's what you got to do. So we all knew the weather was coming. It was just a matter of scrambling to try to get there, so he did the best job of it at the end, but really proud of everybody at Stewart-Haas, and real appreciative to Gene Haas and everybody at Haas Automation for you know, giving us this opportunity to leave here with a third, a second, and an eighth. Can't say that that's that disappointing.
I don't know if it's too early to assess Speed Weeks as an owner. How do you feel about how everything went down and maybe gain some experience as a team overall?
Well, I mean, I'm excited. I think we've got a lot of potential. Obviously, we just got to get poor Ryan some look right now. I mean, he's that's the part that I'm disappointed with, and it's nothing of anybody's doing. It's just they just had bad luck this week, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we get that turned around for California and Vegas. And but you know, I'm proud of Tony Gibson and Ryan and Darian Grubb and Bobby Hutchins and all the guys that were down here and all the guys that came down to help get 2 cars ready for today. So you know, considering we lost 3 cars and to still have a car finish in the top 10, you know, can't be that disappointed.
That's what I've said all week, is that your team, Stewart-Haas organization, probably was the hardest working crew in that garage during Speed Weeks, despite all the difficulty. But you got to be proud how you guys overcame it for today.
Yeah, and you know, I think the thing that I'm most proud of, it's not the 3rd place run or the 2nd place run or the nationwide win. It's coming back from the infield care center and seeing all the guys and seeing their attitudes and how hard they worked to get us out again before the end of happy hour was over, and how hard Ryan's crew worked to get their car ready for today too. So you know, that's it's not what you typically would think you'd be most proud of, but that's what stood out in my mind as a highlight of our week, and just showing me you know, when we got adversity like that, what kind of guys we got and how dedicated they are to making it right.
All right, thanks Smoke for joining us on NASCAR Victory Lane. Tony Stewart comes home 8th tonight.
Well, you know, I'm sorry, Kenny, probably the best thing about that is the fact that they were able to bounce back from adversity.
Well, I was impressed with Tony already taking that leadership role. As you know, I'm the leader. When I go back to Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm gonna get to 39 of Ryan Newman. I'm gonna get all those guys positive, and that way, when they go out to California, you know, they feel a lot better about themselves. Because, you know, Jimmy, they're gonna have to overcome a tough start for Ryan Newman's team.
Very strong organization. A lot stronger organization than people realize. Got a group of solid guys from different organizations into that thing. Stewart-Haas Racing, you're going to hear a lot more out of him. Don't forget, he's involved with Mr. Hendrick.
Exactly. That's a heck of an alliance. And when we come back, we're going to have a guy join our alliance up here that you'll want to hear from. Ken Squire will join us to put a perspective on Speed Weeks.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you in part by Old Spice, the official deodorant of NASCAR. And by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward.
Well, there's simply nothing like the Daytona 500. There's no better way to end it than with the true statesman of NASCAR broadcasting, Ken Squire. Hello, Mr. Squire.
Cut it out. Cut it out. It's a long week, but having fun.
Another Daytona 500 in the books. What's forward for us?
What do you mean, forward? You mean for the season?
Yeah.
Well, who cares, Spencer? I mean, this is the Daytona 500. My heart. This is the great American race, and it ended. I was surprised it ended the way it did. You see, we got France Senior working upstairs and France Junior working upstairs. I thought that was a Quinella that would guarantee that no matter what they showed us with all that funny stuff on the TV set about the weather, that we'd get it all in. But they must have got to arguing between father and son or something like that.
Well, let's now, with the courtesy of Ken Squire, let's now take you back through what was definitely an eventful Daytona 500 and another one for the history books.
Everyone here saw the Daytona 500 differently today. Each of us saw it through our own needs, concern, imagination, and dreams. But now we can start toward Monday saying that we saw it, we felt it, we were right in the heart of the great American race. Why, just this morning, while some were recovering from Saturday night stress, others could take a walk over to the garages, look over the shoulders of a favorite team's preparation, and just maybe score an autograph from one of the heroes. One could actually have watched a quiet parade of racing talent from the fan deck, feel the anxiousness that grew on this day. Later, you could claim your moment with Keith Urban, the great country singer. In the grandstands, you could sense the tension building when those teams came to attention. Those drivers climbed on board, and the call to arms was given, and then it all became official.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a race like no other. Like we said, everyone sees Daytona differently. From the driver's perspective, it can be stark terror. From the grandstand, the tapestry of moving color and sound sweeping true believers into an experience like none other in sport. In the infield, the heart of the action, it's the anticipation. Then the burst of action sweeping past, exclamation marks to an ongoing carnival of speed. For others, it looks like Sunday in Central Park or Boston Commons. Folks just enjoying the day in a place they cherish. Everyone feels a part of it, contributing to something that speaks to so many of us, personified by those men out there taking care of business, handling their own destiny, with odds a minimum of 42 to 1 that they'll succeed, but willing to give it everything they have. What more can you ask of a sport than creating a common bond of commitment and respect for a contest that breaks the mold of sport as we knew it until the 20th century? Daytona, the symbol for 150,000 plus these past few hours of a game representing some of the best of us, where the common man rises to the occasion and does uncommon deeds. It's a part of the American tradition, this great American race.
You just really can't call it one of 36. You got to call it one of a kind.
Yeah. Cambridge, Wisconsin, you've got yourself a great winner. Those folks up around Slinger, Madison, boy, that was some young man out there, and so verbal and such a really good kid.
And emotional.
I want to brag on you.
We don't need
in
to get there.
1979, you called the legendary Daytona 500. You're the reason this race is what it is. Thank you.
Well,
all right, thanks
whatever.
to Ken Squire. And right now, like we do at the end of every one of these Speed Weeks, we have to thank the incredibly talented group of photographers, technicians, engineers, producers, and directors that make it possible for us to bring you over 100 hours of coverage from the great American race and the Daytona International Speedway. Thanks to everybody on Team Speed, but especially this year, thanks to you, the fan, for coming along for the ride. So long, everybody. See you in California.